We know Rihanna said to shine bright like a diamond, but we guess nature wanted to make it rain instead. And that has baffled the science community so much that it got us thinking, are we in a simulation? In this video, we'll take a look at how scientists have discovered the impact of asteroids colliding to make diamonds and how that has shaken up astronomers and diamond merchants alike. Let's get to it then. First up, an asteroid collision results in the formation of diamond materials. Asteroids colliding is no big news. Space is, after all, a vacuum with things floating around. So of course, collisions are extremely common. And scary. Don't forget scary. Because we're living on a giant rock floating in space too. And who knows when it's our turn to get hit and barbecued. Whoever's in charge of these collisions, they gotta wait until Riri drops that album. Enough said. Anyway, coming back to how we found diamonds in space. Researchers found out that when two asteroids collided, approximately 50,000 years ago, the high-energy shockwave resulted in the formation of diamonds that have pretty unique characteristics. And all of that was possible because of the extreme pressures and temperatures from the collision. Now, how exactly did we find out about this? Did we go back 50,000 years? Have we finally cracked time travel? Is Bruce Banner real? While going back in time seems like a bit of a stretch, a trip to Diablo Canyon doesn't. Back in 1981, scientists found an iron meteorite that collided with Earth somewhere in California. And we know what you're thinking, what has an asteroid got to do with a meteorite? Well, let's scale back a bit. So asteroids are small rocks in space that orbit the Earth, and they can collide with other asteroids because they have nothing better to do in space. So essentially, it's always chaos up there. But sometimes, these asteroids can come straight at Earth, and once they enter the atmosphere, they're called meteors. And as they hit the ground, they become meteorites, and voila, you have your express delivery from space. But are they really real diamonds? That's the million-dollar question here, right? Is the meteorite at Diablo Canyon really all diamond and no debris? Well, theoretically, it's not really possible, as most of that space gunk is just minerals that have mineralized to form something that resembles a diamond. It's like you trying to follow a Betty Crocker recipe. You think you made a cake, but all you did was replicate the texture of a dishwash sponge. The mineral Lonsdale that caught the attention of scientists was a rather odd substance. Named after the crystallographer Kathleen Lonsdale, it was believed that it had the typical hexagonal lattice a diamond has. But then, it turns out it wasn't really the exact carbon copy of a diamond. So what was it? Turns out, Lonsdale isn't just your average diamond. In fact, it's somewhere between diamond and graphene crystals called diaphytes. And what was strange about these diamond-like crystals was the pattern of these compounds that had numerous irregularities, too wild for gemologists even. So what's a typical diamond like? Grade school science taught us that a diamond is basically made up of a single element called carbon, and that is the toughest material that we know. Graphite is similar in structure to diamond too, but with graphite, since the structure is kind of layered, it's easier to mold it in shapes. This might even come as a surprise to you, but diamonds are actually older than Earth's first land plants. That makes them at least a couple of million years old. Contrary to popular belief, diamonds do not come directly from coal. In fact, they're made under extremely high pressures and over a long period of time. Carbon atoms get compressed more and more until they have shiny crystalloids that we call diamonds. This is why everyone was pretty excited to discover diamonds falling from the sky as meteors. But alas, that's not the case. And while they're something like a diamond, they're truly not the same. And can we use these new materials commercially? If you know a thing or two about crystals, then you might know that they have a regular repeating structure, like a brick wall. Some diamonds do have impurities mixed within them, but none of them have been structurally complex, as Lonsdale. This makes one wonder if there's an abundance of this new material available. Can we, use it? While research is still being conducted on the Canyon Diablo diamond, researchers have said that because this new work has interesting mechanical properties, it might be just a potential material to use for structures with exceptional hardness. So maybe something like an electronic device, maybe like the new iPhone, because boy, do they need better protective materials for their phones. But we're not sure if Tim Cook would take that leap of faith. Lastly, how important is this new discovery? Science has been extremely useful to us. Be it accidents in the lab or spending long hours collecting data and running numbers, it has significantly made our lives better. And this new discovery has further opened new doors for us, a global community, to see how many things exist out there that we still have no knowledge of. As we come across more and more materials like Lonsdaleite, we'll also find many ways to utilize these materials. In fact, nanomedicine is an up-and-coming field that is probably going to benefit the most from these new discoveries. The use of nanotechnology can help us with cancer research and hopefully lead us to find a cure. And if we need a little extraterrestrial help for that, then it's not that bad of a bargain, now is it? And now, moving on to other news. First up, somewhere a couple thousand light years away, two dead stars have collided. And while that sounds eerily like a Phoebe Bridgers song, it's actually one of the most powerful gamma ray bursts that we've seen in quite some time now. Dramatic explosions obviously come with an insane amount of energy, and when it's two neutron stars, then the light emanating from them is so blindingly bright that it's actually referred to as a kilonova. So, when astronomers in Illinois came across this dead star explosion, it's safe to say that they were pretty shaken by how bright things had gotten, and it just proves how little we know about the big great beyond. Next, local students from China send their first rocket into space. Didn't see that one coming, did you? While middle schoolers from China are designing rockets and sending them off to space, we can't help but think about how we spend our time trading Pokemon cards over lunch. The satellite was designed by local students with the help of big science guys from Shanghai Academy of Spaceflight Technology. It was launched in an effort to validate and encourage the dreams of the students who wish to pursue a career in studying space. The students took part in everything from satellite designs to development, and then loading and launch, and got an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at how the space guys do their job. Not only did they draw plans for the rocket, but they even proposed around 6,000 names for it. Ultimately, 2 plans out of the thousands were chosen, and thus, the satellite was launched to record greenhouse emissions and monitor the movements of the moon. Sounds like an A+ science grade to us. And finally, SpaceX junks land on an Australian sheep farm. Yikes, now that's gonna leave a mark. Earlier this week, the Australian Space Agency announced that they had found 3 large chunks of space debris in a sheep farm that belonged to SpaceX. And, if we had to take any guesses, the farmers are probably not going to sign up for a Tesla anytime soon. The locals said that they heard a loud sonic boom and saw a blazing light arc across the sky, and were pretty sure they might have felt like Thor is making his Asgardian descent. Sheep farmer Mick Miners found a 10-foot-tall spike erect in one of his sheep farms, and his neighbor, Jock Wallace, too, stumbled upon a separate chunk nearby. The latter then reached out to Australia's Civil Aviation Safety Authority and was told to reach out to NASA to see how he could dispose of the remains. And while we're glad not much harm was done, it's still concerning to think that at any given moment we could have space junk hurling right at us, and there's absolutely nothing we can do to stop it. It happened before, in 1979, when the 77-ton Skylab tumbled down into Australian grass for the first time. So it's not the first time things have gone haywire in the area down under. Nevertheless, we need to come up with contingency plans to avoid this in the future, and we just hope we don't wake up to another SpaceX piece in our backyard tomorrow. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think about this new discovery? Do you think there's a chance it'll rain gold someday, or are we doomed to witness acid rain until we die? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content like this. Until next time, we'll see you in the next one.